So let's start off in the reclining teepee. Spread your feet out about the width of your hips. And then allow your knees to knock in towards each other like a teepee shape. And then feel free to bring your hands and your arms wherever it feels good. You can cactus the arms by bending the elbows, opening out through your chest, your lungs, your heart. Or you could place one hand on top of the chest and one hand on top of the belly, whatever feels right. And always good here at the beginning of these yin practices is to really just give yourself permission to indulge within this practice. It's not about doing. It's about being, and it's not about striving. It's about arriving and allowing. Some practices that will come to you right away. Other practices, it could take a little bit of time, but just moving in this direction of just cultivating that quiet, that calm. As the teacher Ram Dass says, the quieter the mind becomes, the more that you can hear. And he's not referring to hearing something outside of yourself so much as hearing that voice within, the voice of intuition and wisdom and guidance that'll tell you how far to go into these poses and these postures. In a few moments, we'll do a little bit of breathing together just to help to create this ecosystem of yin. So let's start by taking a nice, big, deep inhale through the nose. Fill the lungs up. And then side out the mouth, exhale, let it go. And then we'll begin. Inhale through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath in. And then exhale out the nose, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. A few more rounds. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Last round. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Take another deep inhale through the nose. And then side out the mouth, let it all go. Good, you guys. Close in the mouth. Just allow that breath to continue to gently move in and out through the nose. And then go ahead and reach your hands forward. Grab your shins. And just draw both knees into your belly, into your torso. From here, we'll place the right ankle on top of the left knee, left thigh, setting up for reclining pigeon. So a couple of options. You could bring your left foot down onto your yoga mat for a softer variation. You could also place a block underneath the left foot. Or you could reach your right arm down through the legs. And with both hands, just grab the back of that left thigh or the left shin. Coming into our first official yin posture. Just taking about 3 or so minutes here. In southern India, sometimes they have to walk really, really long distances between a village and a place to go fill up a jug of water or to get some food. And so every now and then along these paths, they'll have these stone columns about the height of an average human. And so if you get tired, you can take the jug right off the top of your head, just slide it onto the column. Just kind of take a load off. And then when you feel invigorated and recharged and well rested, then you get back onto the path and continue the journey home. So imagine that this yin practice is where you've just slid the jug off. You're taking the weight of the world off of you. And just taking a little bit of time where your only responsibility is to take care of yourself. As Tony Robbins' teacher Jim Rohn says, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. So although you're not burning a ton of calories or creating muscle tone, there's something a whole lot deeper taking place. As we move in and out of all these various yin postures, you'll notice sensations arise. And those sensations can really fall into 3 different categories. They can be a pleasurable sensation, maybe a challenging sensation, or a mundane or neutral sensation. But whatever the sensation is, try not to judge it, try not to cling to the good or push away the bad. But just breathe into it, breathe through it. And you'll notice how these sensations just arise and disappear. They come and they go eventually. In the Zen tradition, they say when you realize that everything changes and you find your composure within the change, then you find yourself in nirvana. So the awakening comes from embracing and going within the flow of the change as opposed to fighting it instead of swimming upstream. So you let go, you let be, and you just allow this nice, gentle, effortless current of the Tao to unfold. Give that left eye one last little gentle squeeze in. Then go ahead and uncross that right leg, grab the shins, draw the knees back in. Spread the knees open, slide the knees forward, bring the knees back together, creating circles. Just take a few more of those. And then as you're ready, just do it the opposite way. Beautiful. Grab the shins, draw the knees back in. And then we'll come into reclining pigeon on the other side. So go ahead and take your left ankle. Place it right over top that right thigh. Remembering that you can always come into a softer variation by placing that right foot down onto the mat or a block. Or if you feel like you want a deeper stretch, you can pull that right thigh in towards the belly. There's that expression that says, what's one man's medicine is another man's poison. So see if you can find the medicine that works for you. You may notice people around you doing something else, doing something deeper. That could turn into poison for you. Really honor what it is that your body needs. And you'll finish your practice feeling way better than when you began, even if you began feeling really good. Take a last few breaths there. Good, you guys. Go ahead and uncross that left leg. Grab your shins, draw your knees back in. And then just start rocking gently forward, backward, forward, backward. And after a few of those rocks, just go ahead and rock yourself all the way up to seated. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. We'll set up for what we call seated diamond. So for seated diamond, a little different than butterfly. Instead of bringing the feet close into the body, you want to slide the feet away from the body so the lower body is shaped like a diamond. Take the hands, grab the ankles, slide the fingers underneath the bottom sides of the ankles. And then on an inhale, pull the heart up and out, create length. And then start to bend the elbows on the exhale. Start to draw the forehead down. And if you like, you can put a block on top of the feet, or you could do a bolster and a block and put that right underneath your head. So the average head weighs about 15 or so pounds. Just a lot of weight that the neck has to hold up all day long. So if you can use a prop to support that weight, that can help to activate what we call the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of fight, flight. There's a whole new wave of doctors that are now saying that a lot of illness and a lot of disease is because people are stuck in a chronic sympathetic state of fight or flight, overrun with adrenaline and cortisol. And that's what starts to break down the tissues and the organs. In a practice like Yin Yoga, we move away from the sympathetic state into the parasympathetic. The cortisol and the adrenaline diminishes. The feel-good hormones like serotonin increases. So not only does this have a powerful medicinal effect within your deep fascia, also within the nervous system. So see if you can continue to just kind of kick back, let go, let be. And just trust that intelligence and that wisdom that innately already exists within your body. And let it take care of everything. So you just kind of take a back seat. A few more breaths there. Beautiful, you guys. Go ahead and slowly ease your way all the way back up, taking your time. No hurries, no worries. Bring the hands to the outer knees. Close the knees together. And swing your feet and your legs off around to the side. And we'll meet in a tabletop pose. So all fours position. As you come into tabletop, take your fingertips and turn those back to face your knees. So reverse that hand position so the front of your wrist faces forward. With your hands like that, on the inhale, drop the belly, extend the heart forward, broaden and brighten through the chest. And then on the exhale, slowly round the back, moving almost as slow as you can. And then try that on your own for about a minute or so. If it feels right, you could even do it with your eyes closed. You can think of your stronger power yoga practices like you're climbing a mountain. And then the yin practice is like you're exploring the caves deep inside of the mountain. So those words yin and yang, traditionally yin means shade and yang means light. And the whole philosophy of the Tao is about finding that balance between the yin and yang within all dimensions of our life, because balance is what brings us back to a real state of strength and stability and power. Good. Go ahead and bring the spine back to neutral. Turn the fingertips back around towards the front. Slide your hands forward about 3 or 4 inches. Tuck the toes underneath the feet. Lift the hips to the sky. We'll come into a downward facing dog, and we won't be here too long. But while we're here, feel free to walk out your dog. Just alternating one heel down towards the ground at a time. Stretching out through the backs of the legs, your calves, your heels. Just kind of working out those kinks. Then keeping the feet as is, go ahead and crawl your hands all the way to the back of your yoga mat, making sure that your feet are spread about the width of the shoulders. And then grab opposite elbows with your hands, the dangling forward bend. So as you allow your torso to surrender to gravity, just allow all the tissues from your heels all the way up to the top of the neck, the base of the skull, to gently release. So that chin curling in towards the top of the chest, nowhere to get to, nowhere to go, nothing to achieve. For the duration of my yoga practice, all I have to do is just breathe and be, just one pose, one breath, one moment at a time. And any time that my mind drifts away like a kite, maybe planning for the future, ruminating in the past, I rein the kite back in. And I come back to the sensation that I'm feeling right now within my body. I come back to this breath that's taking place right here, right now. The deeper the presence, the deeper the focus, the deeper your experience will be, and that's true for anything. Go ahead and release the hands, the arms. Spread the feet towards the outer edges of the mat. Turn the toes out, heels in, and then we'll come into the yoga squat. So just go ahead and take a seat all the way down. And you can always sit on a block, or you could put a blanket underneath the heels for support here if you like. And this pose is medicine for the lower body, so the ankles, the knees, the hips, that release through the lower back, and really the perfect antidote to all the sitting in chairs that we do. So if you don't use it, you lose it. And these poses just restoring our natural ranges of motion, so our body can move in all the ways that it was built to be moved in. Let's come into a little flow. So on an inhale, stand up. Reach the arms all the way up to the sky. And on the exhale, back down into your yoga squat. Just breathing out, relaxing into it. A few more like that. On the inhale, both arms up. And then on the exhale, come down as much as you like. 3 more times. Inhale, let that breath lead the way. And exhale all the way down. 2 more times. Inhale, rise up. And then exhale all the way down. Snap, crackle, pop, just like Rice Krispies. 1 more time. Inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale all the way down. Just take a last few breaths there, just in your yoga squat. Pulling your hands gently downward, elevating your heart gently upward, tucking the chin gently downward so your neck is long. Take a goodbye inhale here in the yoga squat. Set the hands down on the exhale and then just kind of fold over and down like you're cascading. Turn the toes in, feet parallel to each other, feet about the width of the hips, and then crawl the hands forward back to your downward facing dog. Just passing through, go ahead and gently lift your right leg up on an inhale. Bring your right foot forward to the top of the mat on the exhale. And then relax your left knee all the way down onto your yoga mat. Release the top of your left foot. And if you want to put that padding underneath your left knee, feel free for comfort. Bring both hands to the inside of your right foot, right leg. Scoot the right foot a few inches over to the right so you create a little room for yourself. And then you can start to bend the elbows, start to lower the elbows either down onto a couple of blocks, a bolster. You could do a bolster and block, so you have kind of less depth that you have to get into. So feel free to get creative with your props and use those props to help you find the place as we come into the dragon pose. Some people like to even roll onto the outer edge of the right foot, let the right knee flare out. Sometimes called the winged dragon or the low-angled dragon. In Yin Yoga, we have what's called the 3 laws of Yin, or the 3 stages of the Yin pose. Stage 1 is to find your boundary. Find that wall of resistance. Instead of jamming or blasting or muscling your way through that wall of resistance, which is really counterproductive in Yin, think about it as just a gentle lean into that tension with kindness. As Helen Keller said, kindness is the language that the deaf can hear and the blind can see. So bring that kindness to how you work within your body. It's a powerful force, a benevolent quality. And that second stage is to just become as still as you can. And it doesn't mean that you can't make adjustments when needed, but stillness and yin go hand in hand. And the Taoists believe that stillness is really the doorway into a deeper dimension of who we are. So the body gets still, the mind gets still. In the Tao Te Ching, they says, to one who finds stillness, the whole universe surrenders. And then that last stage of the yin pose is to just allow that current of time to gently unfold and flow. I know for myself, being in a pose like this sometimes can be very challenging. And so I'll use this kind of mantra to help get me through. And the mantra is just let go, let be. Let go, let be. So if that's useful, you can repeat that silently internally so that you're not fighting the experience. It's like a martial artist that spins their opponent to their advantage. You can do that within these challenging moments as well. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and ease out of that one. That's probably enough for that one. In fact, I've seen a few people where their hip actually burst into flames in that pose. Now from here, we're going to come into what we call the deer pose. So for deer, you're going to take your right foot. You're just going to heel toe it all the way over to the left side of the mat. You're going to open your right knee out to the right. And then the key is to bend your back left knee so that your left shin is flush with the left side of your yoga mat. So it's kind of like you're doing a pigeon pose or what we call a sleeping swan, except the back knee is bent. And then the chest faces forward, that same direction as that front right shin. Once you have the lower body set, then you can start to crawl out over that top right leg and just kind of fold down. It can be nice to use a bolster to go underneath the chest, or maybe a block underneath the head. So just find that place that feels right. And with curiosity, with that explorative mind, just see what happens, see what comes up, and you just witness it, you watch it. Sometimes called the one who knows or the one who sees. That part of us that can see the sensation, but it can also see the thoughts that are floating across the sky of our awareness. The part of us that can also observe and watch and witness the feelings, the emotions that come and go. Almost like you're up on the ceiling, just gazing down upon you from a bird's eye perspective. Just watching. Take a last few breaths there. And as you're ready, go ahead and begin to transition all the way back up onto the hands. We'll come back to the downward dog. So gently press into the hands. Step the right foot back. And then as a counter stretch, go ahead and float your right leg up. Spread open through the right hip, bend the right knee, as if all the tissues in that right hip were just getting a nice big yawn type stretch. Set that right foot back down onto the mat. And then float that left leg up on the inhale. Flow it to the top of the mat, exhale. Relax that right knee down onto the mat, providing padding, if you like, underneath the right knee. Bringing both hands to the inside of your left foot, scooting that left foot a little bit over to the left, creating that room, and then beginning to bend the elbows, coming down to your own degree. Dragon pose on the other side. And it's not uncommon that one hip will be tighter, more open than the other side. So just have that capacity to be able to spin on a dime. Work with what you got right here, right now. Your body is in a constant state of change. In fact, just within the span of several seconds, 50,000 cells in your body will die off. And then 50,000 cells will be created. Your body is constantly, perpetually renewing itself. As far as the breathing goes in a Yin Yoga practice, different people have different perspectives on that. My feeling is that if a pose feels intense, it's actually very helpful to breathe deeper. The breath kind of helps me to erode the tension away. It helps to pull me through the intensity that I'm feeling. And then if I'm in a pose that feels really relaxing and comfortable and sweet, then I'll just leave my breath completely alone. And most likely, if you pay close enough attention, your breath will tell you what it needs to do. So breathe deeper when necessary. Breathe more subtle when necessary. Couple last breaths. Good, that's it for that one. Take your time. Come all the way back up onto the hands. Take the left hand outside of that left foot. Slide that left foot all the way over to the right. Relax the left knee, open to the left. Take your back right knee, slide it forward a little bit. So again, the back right knee bent at about 90 degrees. Right shin will face right side of the mat. And then chest will turn forward towards the front of your yoga mat in the studio. And then just begin to drape out over that front left leg. And obviously the sequence that we're moving through tonight is giving special attention to the hips. On some level, there's something so simple about this yin practice, but try not to underestimate the power of that simplicity. In ancient India, there was a famous king named King Ashoka. And King Ashoka was known as one of the most ruthless, nasty kings of all history. And it didn't matter how much gold he acquired, how much power he acquired, how large his kingdom grew. It was never, ever, ever enough. And anything that stood in his way would get destroyed. One day at the end of a really intense fight and battle, he stood there looking out over the battlefield at all the carnage. Some of his favorite soldiers and officers had also been killed. And on the edge of the battlefield, he saw this monk in his saffron robe, slowly, simply, mindfully, just walking across the field. And he had this insight that this monk had what he didn't have: peace of mind, the kindness and the compassion of the heart. And so he summoned the monk to come see him. And he demanded that the monk share his teachings, to teach him the way of the Dharma, the way of the Tao. And so they spent many, many, many months together learning these practices. And King Ashoka went on to become one of the most benevolent kings of all time, donating much of his wealth to people in need, giving his land to the poor, all because one afternoon he saw this monk just simply moving across a field. There's a saying in Taoism that a person of the world adds something on every day, but a person of the Tao takes something away every day. So instead of accumulating and adding and needing to fix ourselves and improve ourselves, maybe it's really the opposite. Maybe we just need to let go of that which no longer is serving us in a positive way. Removing these tensions, removing the stress and the anxiety and the worry and the fear and the rushing and racing around mentality within our culture. Just peel it all away so that the only thing that's left is us in our optimal state of health and wellness. Awesome, you guys. Go ahead and ease your way slowly all the way up. Then we're going to come into dragonfly. So you're kind of facing over towards the right of your mat. You're going to take both legs and just spread those open. So in Hatha Yoga, what we call seated straddle stretch. And judging by the looks of some of your faces, you don't seem too thrilled about this pose. So this pose is for you. Feel free to either crawl your hands out in front of you, or you can reach your hands out, grab your feet or your legs, whatever feels right. Also, you can create that tower of support to go underneath you, bolster, block or two. And again, don't worry about, how far you're going into the pose. It's not like there's some law that says flexible people are more happy or healthier people. If that was the case, the Circus Olay would be a bunch of happy people. But I'm sure they have their own issues and drama as well. And this will be our last seated pose before we come down onto our backs. A few more breaths. As you're ready, slowly ease your way all the way back up. Turn the legs forward all the way back to the front. Shimmy and shake the legs out just to diminish some of that intensity. Shake it out. And then go ahead and come all the way down onto your back. So all the way back down into reclining. As you get onto the back, reach forward, grab your shins. Pull your knees, your thighs into your belly. Give your lower back a little gentle rock, side to side. And then go ahead and extend your legs straight out in front of you. And then roll over onto your belly. You can keep your head facing the same direction to the back. Just come all the way around onto your belly. And then we'll come into Sphinx pose. So slide your elbows underneath your shoulders. Extend back through your toes. And you can stay there in really a traditional kind of Sphinx. Another option is to come into what we call prayer Sphinx, where you bend the elbows. You bring your hands to prayer, and then you bring your forehead right onto the backs of your thumbs there. And then you can support the weight of the head and also bring a little bit of a devotional quality to it. You could also put a block underneath your forehead here on that high height. And after the last through forward bends that you did, just a gentle backward bend, which is the perfect antidote to working on our computers, driving our cars, looking at our cell phone, eating a meal. Just moving your spine in the opposite direction. Feel free to stay there and Sphinx. If you feel like you want some more medicine, you can take it into seal. So seal, the hands come down, hands broaden out a little bit. I like to turn the fingertips out a little bit as well, and then press down into the hands. Lift the chest up, draw the arms straight. Relax the shoulders back and down. And if that doesn't feel right, you can stay in Sphinx if it feels good. Take another couple minutes there. Just putting that positive compression into the connective tissues and the fascia that support your spine. Activating those fibroblasts so that your deep fascia becomes stronger, more durable, more resilient. All wrapping around the very core and center of your whole entire skeletal system, your spine. Few more breaths. Take one last inhale there. Exhale, bring the hands on top of each other like a pillow. Relax your forehead right on top of that pillow. Completely letting go to gravity. In fact, scan your awareness through your body, through every muscle, through every tendon, ligament, joint, bone. And just notice there's not a place in the body where you're gripping or holding or clenching. Everything relaxed. And relaxing and softening not only just within the body, but also within your brain. Sometimes our brains can get tense and tight. Feel yourself creating more and more space through your body, your mind, your heart. Awesome, you guys. Maintaining that just deep energy of tranquility. Just go ahead and roll over onto your back. And as you get onto the back, grab the shins, pull the knees in. Keep your right knee in, extend your left leg straight out in front of you. Spread that right arm out to the right. And with your left hand on the outer right knee, go ahead and guide the right knee all the way over to the left into a twist. You can stay there, or you could bend your left knee, pull your left heel in towards your body, and then reach your right hand down and grab that left heel for what we call cat pulling his tail pose. Spread open through that right chest. And allow that right knee to just drape effortlessly all the way to the left. Just be here for about a minute or so. If you're grabbing that left foot, go ahead and re-extend that left leg straight. Bring the right knee back up to face the ceiling. Rebend the left knee in to join the right. And then we'll come to the other side. So right leg out, left arm spreads. Take that left knee all the way over to the right. Allowing your left shoulder blade like a paperweight to anchor down into the floor. An option, if you like, to reach down and grab that right foot. Go ahead and release that right leg towards straight. Bring the left knee back up. Pull the right knee in to join the left. And then finally, curl your forehead up to your knees. Take one last inhale, give your whole body a big squeeze. And then exhale, Shavasana. Corpse pose, release down onto the back. Might feel good to take that bolster if you have one and slide it underneath the knees. Or if you want to drape something over the eyes, anything that feels right. So the key is comfort. Find a place where it feels so good to be where you are that you don't even want to move the body. It just feels perfectly, perfectly positioned. And then we'll take these last 5 minutes or so like a stone sinking all the way down into the very depths and bottom of a lake. See how deep you can dive into that stillness. Shavasana. Everybody from here, nice and easy. Nice and gradually bring your awareness back into the space. Back onto your yoga mat. And back into your body, just there, being held and supported by the ground. As you slip back in, just bringing with you whatever it is that you just dropped into. For a moment, let's place one hand on top of the belly, the other hand right on top of the heart, the chest. Just making contact with yourself. Jimi Hendrix said, when the power of love becomes greater than the love of power, then the world will know peace. Take a moment right now and just feel that love with your body, the love of the practice, the love of this life and all the blessings that exist within your life, your family, your friends, your pets. We're so, so incredibly blessed. Reach the hands forward, grab the shins, pull the knees back into the belly. And then we'll roll over onto the left side in honor of the Yin channel. Take a few moments there. And slowly prop yourself all the way up to a last, final cross-legged seated position where we'll seal the practice. As you get up to seated, let's bring the hands to prayer, backs to the thumbs, middle of the chest. Sit up tall in that embodiment of your strength and your power. Slightly bow the forehead down in that embodiment of your grace, your humility, your nobility. And that beautiful Serbian saying that says, be humble, for you are made of the earth, but be noble, for you are made of the stars. Backs of the thumbs, center of the forehead, clarity of mind. Fingers down to the mouth, thoughtfulness of speech. Hands back to the center of the heart for consistency of action, allowing your practice to shine, to illuminate through all that you think, all that you say, and all that you do. Much health, much wealth, much love to you. Namaste.